My name is Araidaza, and today I'm going to explain you the shoulder. First of all, we have to start with the structural part, the bones. We have the clavicle, scapula, and the humerus. Then we will continue with the joints and muscles that are in charge of the movement and blood vessels with the nerves. The bones. The bones that connect the upper end of our body to the trunk are the clavicle and the scapula, or shoulder blade. Here in the image, we can see the spine of the scapula and the clavicle. The humerus, the longest and most proximal bone of the arm, articulates with the scapula at the shoulder joint. The scapula and clavicle only articulate with the bones of the thorax at the sternoclavicular joint. The clavicle is lateral and articulates with the acromion, forming the acromioclavicular joint. The scapula is held in place only by muscles, and because of this, it has a great capacity of movement, both upward and downward, as well as forward and backward. The clavicle from above has an S shape with a forward curve in its medial half. At its medial end, the clavicle has an articular surface that connects to the sternum and its lateral end. It has a smaller surface that articulates with the scapula. And on the underside, there is a strong ligaments that attach to it on both the lateral and medial sides. The scapula is a more complex bone. Its semi-curved part, which serves to adapt to the shape of the thoracic wall, is called the lamina. It is triangular in shape with a superlateral and a medial border. At the top is the glenoid cavity, which is concave and serves as a joint of the shoulder. Above and below this cavity, there are two tubercles, the supraglenoid and infraglenoid, where the tendons are born. In the posterior part of the scapula is the bony crest or spine of the scapula, which divides it into supraspinous and infraspinous fossa. On the lateral side, it forms the acromion, a flat, angled projection that protrudes from the bone and articulates with the clavicle, called the coracoid process that looks like a finger. Around the glenoid socket, there is a fibrocartilage rim called the glenoid labrum, which makes the socket deeper and wider and provides the stability of the joint. There is also a flat ligament, the coracoacromial ligament, which connects the coracoid process to the acromion. The acromioclavicular joint has two ligaments, the trapezoid and the conoid. They attach the clavicle to the coracoid process and are essential for the shoulder stability. The joints. The shoulder joint or glenohumeral joint is formed between the head of the humerus and the glenoid cavity of the scapula. The head of the humerus has a spherical shape that fits into this cavity, and on its anterior aspect, the bicapital groove where the tendon of the long head of the biceps passes. At the upper end on this groove are the lesser tubercle and greater tubercle. This groove is also called the intertubercular groove. In addition, on the lateral side of the humerus, near the middle, we find the deltoid tuberosity, a rough area where the deltoid muscle inserts. The joint is surrounded by a joint capsule which, although weak and doesn't hold the bones together, allows movement. The muscles are what hold the bones together. One of these muscles has its tendon in this area. The shoulder is made up of several muscles that allow the arm to move in all directions and stabilize the joint. These are divided in two main groups. The first one is the main shoulder muscles that are intrinsic. But what it means? These connect the shoulder bones, scapula, clavicle, and humerus, and are essential for arm movement. The first one is deltoid, forms the contour of the shoulder and lifts the arm forward, sideways, and backward. The second one is the rotator cuff, a group of four small muscles that help move and stabilize the shoulder, that are supraspinatus, infraspinatus, subscapularis, and teres major. Then we have the support muscles, extrinsic. But what it means? These connect the shoulder to the torso and assist in movement and stabilization of the scapula. The first one is trapezius. Elevates, lowers, and retracts the scapula, moves the shoulder up the backward. The second one is the latissimus dorsi. Lowers the arm, rotates it toward, and moves it backward. The third one is serratus anterior, that keeps the scapula fixed against the chest and allows pushing movements forward. The fourth one is rhomboids, major and minor, that pull the scapulas together and the shoulders back. Levator scapula lifts the scapula like when shouldering your shoulders.